In an ever-evolving digital landscape, for your business to thrive, you must adapt or die. Welcome to Marketing in the Age of AI, the podcast helping you harness the power of AI and marketing tools to revitalize and grow your business. And now here's your host, marketing expert and author of Authentic Marketing in the Age of AI, Emanuel Rose.
Welcome to Marketing in the Age of AI. I'm your host. Today I have a distinguished guest who is at the forefront of innovation and entrepreneurship. Evgeniy Kharam, author, podcast host, and entrepreneur. Experience in the tech industry, revolution in cybersecurity, and even bringing some emotional intelligence into that. So let's dive into the conversation with Evgeniy and explore the intersection of AI marketing and cybersecurity. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Emanuel. Very, very happy to be here today, and thank you for the invite.
You betcha. I'm excited to see where we go today. To get started, walk me through the journey that led you from being kind of in software and cybersecurity into an author and a podcast host.
So we're not going to go very, very deep, but I started IT back in Israel in the Navy, moved later on to work one of the biggest cybersecurity companies during this time called Checkpoint, moved to Canada. And if any of you watch Shark Tank, I worked for Robert Horjovic in the Horjovic Group for 16 years, where I probably did, like you name it, from deploying different devices to doing a lot of pre-sales, architecture, design, working with vendors. Definitely a lot. I, as I call it, graduated about 2.5 years ago and started my own consulting. I consult to service companies and to vendor in cybersecurity. About podcasting, about 4 years ago, even actually before, about 5 years ago, I had this idea that I want to have a podcast. I want to have a voice. I did struggle quite a lot in the beginning of my career and even teenager with speaking. I will speak very fast. I will mumble. In many cases, it transferred to issues with dating because it was hard to pick up girls and talk to them.
Yeah.
So I got this bug. Like, I want to change this. I want to change the way I communicate. I want to change the way I present. Like, I'm going to start a podcast. And I was terrified about how do I
Yeah.
start a podcast if I don't know how to speak well, if I say something stupid. So I listened to, I don't remember the name of the gentleman, but he basically is saying, if you want to start a podcast and you don't want to start a professional podcast, start something that you know really well. I like extreme sports. I
Right.
like many different sports. So I started a podcast literally for myself in Russian to talk about snowboarding, scuba diving, mountain biking. I did about 5, 6 episodes talking to myself, learning the tools. Like, okay, I can do it. Okay, it's not so scary. There's learning curve. And this was parachute me to start the podcast about cybersecurity. During this time when I had this idea, my partner for the podcast, Dimitri, is like, hey, I like the idea. Let's do it together. Let's explore it together. I already know how to do post editing. I'll help. You have ideas about what you want to talk about it. This is how I started with the podcasting. And this was a learning curve. I
Yeah.
hated my voice as everybody else. Pretty much.
Yeah, everybody does. I have a face for radio.
Yes. And then you started to add it. We had this joke later on with Dimitri that you can understand just by the way you see the sound in
Right.
the editing software
Yep.
because you're doing it so much. And it also triggered the idea, why we have so many filler words? Do I have so many filler words? So it's slowly kind of building laws by building block, help me to understand how I can improve myself, how I can become a better version of Evgeny.
Yeah. Nice.
And then I realized something very interesting. I did consulting for 20 years. I'm a second time immigrant. My English is not perfect. Every time I present to a customer, I'm not even talking about big room, just like maybe few people. What started to do, I didn't even know I'm doing that. I'll put as much emotion as I can to
Nice.
what I'm talking about. And why? Because I realized this is working. I didn't even understand its soft skills during
Yeah.
this time. And people like, dude, you so passionate about this architecture and this firewall, like this is probably working. Like there is no way you're faking this. And I truly believe what I'm doing. Like,
Sure.
oh, okay. And then there was a trigger that changed this like completely. I was presenting to a high-end individual about the design in cybersecurity. We don't have to go very deep there. And he told me, Evgeny, why do I need an antivirus? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, explain to me in the business terms, why do we need to deploy and spend $500,000 in our company for an antivirus? I can use this money to do XYZ. And he's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, I'm not talking the same language. I need to talk a different language. It
Right.
was a polite, like back me to who I am as a technologist. And like, I want you to go home, come back tomorrow, and talk to me in my language. I was like, okay, thank you for the lesson. So it changed the communication and all these building blocks, communication, talking on somebody else's language, doing the metaphors to explain to someone technical terms. And it doesn't have to be cyber. This could be anything else you're
Sure.
trying to explain as a technologist, as a marketer, that we really need to talk on their terms. And the last kind of pin was the work remotely. Like
Yeah.
you and me talking right now, you don't really see Evgeny. You only see part of Evgeny. So if I have something in my hand and I'm going left and right, you're like, is Evgeny writing notes or Evgeny eating spaghetti? Like what gives? Because we don't really see it.
Right. Yeah. Well, so you have a couple of key experiences that both internal in your own mind, and then external with clients that kind of triggered how soft skills are important. And then you took that and you have rolled that up into a book for other people.
Yes. And it was also a self experience because I don't like writing. I
Okay.
don't like writing.
Yeah.
But in one point, I realized that one of the ways to improve ourselves is actually do something we don't like to do.
Yeah.
Like, what if I write a book? Yes, I'm gonna have an editor. He's gonna help me or she to understand what's happening because I know I'm not very good in that. So it was a very interesting self-discipline to do it, as many, many nights and weekends to understand what I want to write. So I'm grateful to myself to accomplish this. And guess what? Bonus. Apparently, my dad is on like cloud nine. The moment I
Oh.
released the book, like this was basically, well, I think we need to add as a son, what is it, like grow a tree, build a house, raise a son. We need to add write the book,
Write
because
a
my
book.
dad,
Yeah.
yes, my dad and my parents, like extremely on level nine.
Oh, that's awesome. We'll break out just kind of the top concepts from the book so that we can understand a little bit more about the mind of Evgeny.
So a couple of things. Because we are so, in a way, having lack of focus right now because we're talking over Zooms to Google Meets Teams,
Yeah.
we really have seconds, less than minutes to connect to each other. And if we don't spend the time to find how we connect to Emmanuel, how to connect to Evgeny, we may lose the person. Now, if we're doing an call about understand who you are, then I think it's fine. And in many cases, it's actually fun not to know about the other person because we want to explore and learn. It's almost like dating if you think about that. You can do all your research before, or you can
Yep.
jump cold turkey and learn, depending what you want to do. But if you're doing sales, for example, you do want to understand and how to connect. And it's not like a framework, do XYZ and you'll get it. It's
Right.
more about I have this many different tools and I can involve any of the tools when I need it. So this could be hooks, this could be reverse hooks, this could be my research on the internet without being a creep. This could be the way I ask you questions. Do you like what like let's give an example. What color do you like?
I like blue.
Blue. How does this question help? Didn't help at all. But if I ask Emmanuel, can you describe your favorite color and why?
And why? Yeah, right. Sure.
Now, as a doesn't matter if you're marketing, if you're sales, if you're a car salesperson, now I can understand why. Do you like blue as a color for the car outside or maybe inside? Okay, weird to have a blue seats, but still an idea.
Yeah.
Um, so there's different ways. So part of the book is, okay, how do we actually get to the point when we connect to the other person? Then how we maintain the relationship to make sure it's going, and what is the tools that are helping us to do this? Because it's just we spoke about research, we talk about questions, but it's also voice. It's also your home setup. Do you use a good camera? Do you have a good lighting? Do you do virtual background or do you do real background?
All right. Yeah.
I have a green screen behind me that I
Yeah.
use my virtual background, but Restream doesn't support virtual background, so I didn't use it in this case. So there's like a supporting tools going to help you become more comprehensive and a building block per person. And then it's the last part that definitely interesting for me. Because if you're an amazing human being, I think we're all amazing human being, but you let's say you're a very good speaker, you know how to run the conversation, but you're afraid. I tell you,
Yeah.
Emmanuel, tomorrow there's a call with the board of directors. Don't mess up this call. If you
Right.
mess up the call, we're going to be out of the business. You're going to be afraid. You're going to be human beings. You're going to be scared.
Sure.
So, can I take this fear and translate it to something else? I have this example of if you see a kitty cat on the street, it's probably fine. If you see a lion on the street and you're not afraid, something's wrong with you. You should be
Right.
afraid.
Yeah.
And we do want to have the fear. We want to use the fear and translate the fear to excitement. Because the difference between fear and excitement is fear, I don't know the outcome, excitement, I know the outcome.
Yeah.
So by understanding part of the problems that every time I need to do something XYZ, I get scared. Oh, okay, now I understand this. This is part of the solution. What can I do with it? Can I transform it to something else? Can I do breathing patterns? Can I do physical exercise to get myself to the flow, to stop being anxious, stop being afraid? And I don't believe that people told me I'm never
Yeah.
afraid. We all scared. We all not sure. We all got triggered. Jump on this call right now and do that. Do what? Like I literally spend 4 minutes in the washroom every time I need publicly to present
Sure.
to just do breathing exercise to calm myself down and get into the flow.
Yep.
So this is the last part. And related to fear is the idea of being present. What
Mm.
if you wake up with the headache every morning? What if you, in the end of the day, can barely survive and you really not mentally there? So if we cannot be present, if you don't take care of our body, if you don't take care of our mind, then we're not able to do the hard work we need to do.
Yeah.
It was a long answer, but I
No,
think
that's
it's
good.
important.
I like that, and I think you really have a lot of dimensions in there, and so where do you recommend that? Let's say somebody who is a salesperson with just a little bit of experience. Where do they begin? How do they get started?
There's sales frameworks. I don't want to touch. There's other professionals that will teach you the sales framework and all this
Yeah.
amazing methodology.
Right.
What I want you to start is analyze yourself about how do you connect to people, what you like and what you don't like to do. What you don't like to do is maybe the parts you need to start learning. This is one important part. Also, understand your curiosity, how it's
Mhm.
dialed in. Do you
Yeah.
curious about stuff or you're like, nah, I'm good. Just tell me what to do. Because if you don't have the curiosity, you will not able to learn other things. The other part that it's kind of, excuse my French, fucked up, is vulnerability.
Yeah.
Because we say soft skills should be soft, but as part of soft skills, we need to learn how to be vulnerable. And
Yep.
vulnerable means asking the questions we don't want to ask, back to fear. Emmanuel, we've been talking for the last 2 weeks. Do you planning to buy whatever I'm selling to you this month?
Right.
You can be slap on your hands. Or you can say no, but the moment you got no, it's okay, fine. Thank you very much, Manuel. You save my time. I don't need to spend time with you. Or Evgeny, thank you for your question. I actually don't have the sign authority. Or yes, but not here next quarter, next year, whatever it is.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So we want to ask the hard questions. We want to ask the stuff that's going to help us. Emmanuel, I know you guys have a process in your company to buy things in a certain way. Can you guide me what is the best way for me to act to make sure I'm aligned to the sales process? Do I
Yeah.
need a signature from a legal right away? Do we need to sign special NDAs and NDAs? It's all people don't like to ask for help. You need
Right.
to ask for guidance. Look, we know
Yeah.
everything. Don't tell me what to do. But this is part of vulnerability. The same way, I can ask Emmanuel. We're going to spend some time with you. I'm going to sell you this amazing cup of coffee with my book sign on it. Let me explain you how it's going to work. Can I guide you? And you say, yeah, definitely. I want to understand what's happening. Literally half an hour before on the call, on before that, I was presenting about this idea to a team of friends, and a lady asked me, Evgeny, what is the best way to follow up with people without being annoying to them?
Yeah.
And I ask, did you ever try to ask the customer what's the best way to follow up with them without being annoying with them?
What a great
And,
answer. Yeah.
and people will tell you, annoy me as much as you can. Don't annoy me. I know what I'm doing. Again,
Yeah.
you need to build some rapport. It's not just, hi, Mario, how you doing? Would you buy my firewall, my cup? And then what's the best way to follow up? We need to have this conversation that now can ask you this question to build some kind of a bridge where we can put on top, on top, on top.
Yeah. Well, we need is have work out. So I'm going to hang tight here.
Lost you a bit. I think it's my internet is that. Oh,
All right. There we go. That's
yeah.
okay. Well,
I'm not sure if it's me or you. Yeah.
yeah, that's okay. We're back here. Getting at was with the avalanche of material that we're getting now because of the AI and because people are in this building these relationships like you're describing, I think is really the superpower for those of us who are paying attention in both small and medium sized businesses. What do you think about that?
AI is there to help. I like AI, don't get me wrong. I think AI is serving a lot of information. So, for example, if I jump on a call and trying to tell you who is Evgeny and what my company does, there's
Right.
a good chance that I hope you went on ChatGPT, put Evgeny, and it gave you who the hell is Evgeny in 1 second. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of usage of AI. But we need to understand where do we use AI and where we don't use AI. AI, at least right now, and I don't know what's going to happen, don't have the soft skills, don't have the communication.
Right.
If I ask AI, how you doing, how you doing, how you doing, it will ask me, good, 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 how are you, how are you? If I ask Emmanuel, how you doing, how you doing, how you doing, you're going to punch me in the face on the fifth time. It's like, again, what's wrong with you? Why are you asking the same question every time? So we need to understand the usage of this. Where I think the bad examples of using AI is all this completely automated. So let's do this. If I do an automated question, reach out on LinkedIn, okay, let's understand. We may all want to save time. We want to understand if, but first of all, did you test how it's working? Did you
Right.
test it's actually not gonna get to me? Hi, first name, last name, how you doing? I found your
Exactly.
profile very interested. We can help your business. Like test what you do. Okay, you know what? I cannot say I have a problem with automated messages. Let's review with automation and AI. But if your follow-ups are automated as well, if you message me and I tell you I have no idea what you want from me, and you second reply to me, great, I'm happy you found my first message very interested. It's
Yeah.
like, come on, seriously.
Yeah.
I'm not talking to human being. You just lost your credibility. So if you can use AI to can help you and maintain your credibility, I think it's fine and it's good. But if you moving to a part when you trying to automate yourself, then be careful what you doing. This is where if you use AI to understand who came to your website and automatically send them some information about the company, up to you. There's bad and good about this, because there is definitely amazing usage of AI with research, with understanding, with sifting through information, getting the results much faster, understanding what people does. But if you're going to use AI too much, you're going to get to the point when you use AI and the customer use AI, then two AI talking to each other. What do we get to
Exactly.
this? I
Yeah.
wrote an article. Your AI commented on the article. They had a conversation. Great.
Yeah. But we've lost the human connection at that point. We don't know each other when we actually get on the call or see each other. And that's the challenge, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, I think I love AI. Like I love what we can do with AI. My book does end with a chapter that call about the future of AI in sales, when I think we're gonna have a bot that will basically do research for us. We're already
Yep.
starting this, but we're also gonna have a bots from a vendor perspective. They're gonna be answering and talking to our bots. And
Yep.
basically what I envision, this was a friend of mine, we kind of brainstorming this idea, Michael Kruger, that the websites on the marketing side, I know you in marketing, we're gonna have some kind of interface for AI bots. And I don't know if you agree with me or not. Basically, that the client AI bot can go to the vendor AI bot and ask for information. What do you
Right.
think?
Yeah, and it'll bring in a summary like through Otter and say, here's what I learned and how should I proceed, right? And then it's either going to be schedule a time or get more information or whatever the next kind of phase is. But yeah, it is bot to bot conversation that's going to be getting us into these next conversations, I believe. Yeah. Well, it's good stuff. The name of your book, Evgeny, you want to tell us about that and how to
Yes.
get a hold of it?
Critical success, soft skills in technical sales. The easiest way to find is on Amazon. I'm luckily enough to have a very unique and weird name. So if you type Evgeniy Kharam, Kharam on Amazon, you definitely will find me. You can also go on LinkedIn, connect to me with you as well. And softskillstech.ca, softskillstech.com is a great place to find everything about the book. I do have a question to you, Emmanuel,
Oh,
if I may.
sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Are you probably talking to many, many people? If you can summarize, like in a minute, what new you learned from our today conversation?
Oh, what I learned, what I was reminded about today was taking the time to be present with people and to ask why they do what they do or why they love what they love, and dig in that next layer deeper, and not what I call for myself being lazy and just asking the questions perfunctorily, but actually really caring about the answer and then digging into that next level. So I think that's genius, and your emotional intelligence is a 10 out of 10, Evgeny. I appreciate you sharing those secrets today.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I appreciate your time, and I'm very grateful. And I'm looking forward to connecting with you again and seeing what you're into in the future.
Thank you.
Okay, have a great day. Thank you.
You too.
Thanks for listening to Marketing in the Age of AI. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. Your copy of Authentic Marketing in the Age of AI is available at Amazon.com or EmanuelRose.com. You can also connect with Emanuel on LinkedIn. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.